Now we will see loading point, defining loading point. We have already seen how to create a shipping point and assign it to plants. Loading point is actually a subdivision of shipping point. You can imagine something like this. Let me draw it here. Further subdivision of shipping point is loading point. Because a pot will be very huge, probably a pot will be sectionized into different sections. So in that case, if you want to represent each section in our SAP system, you can use loading point for that matter. Loading point, I have not been to Port of New York, so I'm not sure how it has been sectionized. So let's say loading point 1, I can only imagine loading point 1 and let loading point 2. Loading point 1, or actual definition will be somewhat different. If you have visited Port of New York, probably you have a better idea how they are sectionized. Since I have not, I can only imagine loading point 1, loading point 2, something like this. Let me show you how to create these loading points as a subdivision under shipping point. You have to go back to enterprise structure, definition, say logistic execution. Remember this option, this option which allowed us to create shipping points. Just beneath that we have maintain loading point. Execute that. Shipping point, receiving point is this. Let me choose Port of New York. Port of New York. NYPT. Yeah, Port of New York. Loading point LP1. I can only create 2 character. Responsibility, you can key in something. So I have only 2 characters to key in, so let me change it to something like this. Loading point 1, loading point 2, L1 and L2. So accordingly I will change it here as well. L1, L2. Okay, we are done. This is how you can create a here loading point, which is a subsection under shipping point. And the advantage of, actually the definition of loading point is absolutely optional. You can actually ignore loading point and use only a shipping point if you want to in our delivery documents. But if you want to further subdivide shipping point into different sections, you can use loading points, and these loading points can be assigned in delivery document header. I'll show that to you when I come to this topic here. Outbound delivery. In this outbound delivery, I will show you a place where you can key in the loading point in the delivery document header, so that it is more clear who is responsible to handle that goods, that part of the goods which arrive at that part of the port. Okay, that's why we have an option to key in the loading point responsibility as well. We can enter a person's name here so that he'll be responsible in handling the goods, and these 2 loading points are defined under the shipping point NYPT, because before we log into the screen we were prompted with the shipping point and we have entered NYPT, so the loading point that we define is assigned under this shipping point. Okay, it's very simple. That is about defining